What's up guys, Jordan Troxell here with Colt 45, Colt Nichols, factory CRF450R. Start off up top, Colt runs a Renthal 827 handlebar, a special soft white grip, arc levers, and on top of all that, we're still on our factory HRC Works triple clamp. One thing, Colt is a little bit taller on his bar mounts than the rest of the team or anybody else we've actually had here. Part of that is just because coming off the Yamaha, being so tall and stiff in the front, just trying to simulate some of that height for him on this spring fork. We've been able to kind of create a combo with giving him a lot more height on his front end via his bar mounts. Underneath the Renthal grips is a Works Connection billet throttle tube, Works Connection start device that we also use for those guys. The buttons up front on the handlebars are just a simple red button for start and a left side kill switch. You can also run a start mode there, but Colt chooses not to. On our Works triple clamp, you'll see all of us wire tie the nut to the steering nut. That's just safety precaution, make sure nothing rattles off or changes during the moto. We have Showa forks. We've been on Showa for several years now. Showa shock in the rear as well. So when you look at our radiators, you see those are actually stock OEM radiators that we have on this motorcycle. We have a Works 1.8 pressure cap held on with a little pin, just a safety so his knee can't take it off during the moto. Stock louvers with our twin air little protectors that go on the front, keep rock and debris out of our radiators so we don't damage those. Intech hoses, blue hoses, nice little touch, and then they go into our little Works Y piece that mounts into our motor that's only special to us in-house. Yeah, that black hose on the bottom is just an extra protection for roost. New to us on the 450 side this year is a get launch control on our front fender where the guys can look at their RPM when they're on the starting line. Down there it's really loud. These guys really can't feel their motorcycles or hear them especially, so that helps them tell where the bike is at so they can perfect their RPM for the perfect start. So we run a production master cylinder up top, front brake and clutch. We have little Works caps with HRC and 45 on them, and we also have little carbon protectors just to protect the piston from any rock damage. I don't think Colt has small fingers, but the front brake is pretty close to the bar. It is pretty strong and it's right there when he needs it. The depth for each rider on their Works Connection start device is kind of independent of them. In Supercross we are pretty deep, especially with the grate. These things will really hook up, so we slam it down there as far as we can. It's quite strong to get in position. You'll see the little aluminum straps we have bolted to the bottom of the fork guard that mounts it to the lug of the fork. That's just to keep all that pressure from ripping the plastic right off the fork. Yeah, so our wheels, we have our coveted HRC hub we've been running for years. I love that piece about our motorcycle. DID rims, Dunlop tires, Colt's on the 768 front. I also wire tie all my spokes just in the small event that, you know, we might pop one or get a foot peg or something in it during a moto. We have just a slightly better percentage chance of finishing the race, keeping that spoke in place so it doesn't drag out and cause a DNF. The little rubber mounting position you see on the left side of my handlebar is just for Colt's polar watch, so he can monitor his heart rate or whatever he needs to record his data while he's riding. So the engine package for Colt, pretty standard for the last few years here at Honda. We have Bob Reichman taking care of all that in-house for us. Externally, everything will look the same to you. We have a covered magnesium primary cover, the Henson clutch basket internals, and the cover on the outside. You'll see our standard Yoshimura pipe on the outside. We kind of mellowed the bike out quite a lot from where he started, coming from that 250 to the 450, trying to grab a handful in between rhythms to make sure this thing doesn't get out of control and take off on him. That's one of the biggest things we've made progress on this year is our wiring. Have some in-house guys really sit down and spend some time to clean up our wiring and our data system. So you'll see the O2 bung on the Yoshimura pipe. It plugs into our data system, and we have our own special data harness that's really clean this year. All that stuff is hidden underneath the tank, so you can't really see that. That's one of the biggest things I've been pumped on in our improvement this year, was just cleaning up a lot of things underneath the tank that you guys can't see. On the top of the left radiator, you'll see our GPS antenna. That can only be ran in open stadiums. It will not pick up in a dome stadium, so we'll probably just take that off next weekend when we head to Houston. But yeah, that's just part of our whole data system. Yeah, so we have a special carbon skid plate made just for us by a local guy here. Really cool. It protects all the things we need, and then we even have a different version for when we have to run an oil cooler. We have more protection to protect that as well. You'll see that on for our mud races. Rear brake pedal, just a works component mainly because of the tip. The way the tip is mounted, I just have a standard brake snake to keep it from pulling out. It goes along with our works peg. Foam sometimes in our brake pedal or around our foot peg brackets to prevent mud from getting in there. No, the foot peg we have many different options. We can go down, we can go up, we can go back, we can go forward. Colt is a little different position than stock, but it is a works peg from Japan. Yeah, you'll see that our rear master cylinder has no window on the rear side of it. It is still kind of a production piece as far as all the internals and the way it works. We just simply have taken the window off so that rocks can't break it. Pretty standard for our team. Everybody runs the gray grip tape on the frame. Various combinations of guys on their side panels. Colt is just on the small grip tape triangle here. Very abrasive. Boot guys and pant guys do not like us, but the seat Colt runs is the standard seat we've had here for years. Just a 5-rib, little rope in there, all done by Throttle Jockey as well as our graphics. This bike that you're seeing today is a one-off for Anaheim 2 with the white plastic and the green and teal graphics on ours and the pink on Jets as well. It's a production subframe. Colt actually runs a cut subframe a little bit just to keep from kicking him in the butt in some places, but production part. Towards the rear of the bike, we have a production swing arm there, and we do have a couple of various linkages that we can run. Colt and Chase are on the same link this year. Makes it a little bit easy for us. Rear brake master cylinder. The rest of the system is pretty much production caliper, line, all that stuff. We just kind of chamfer our pads a little bit, just in an emergency we need to change a tire in a hurry. That rotor doesn't go in there and grab a sharp edge and fold our pads in and cause a problem. Our axle blocks are actually done by Henson. Another one of the cool things Henson does for us. We have an aluminum nut on our axle this year as far as wheelbase and spacing. Certainly not going to tell you any of that information, Travis. So our rear wheel, same thing, works hub, DID rim, Dunlop 684 rear. I think we'll stay on that all year. We might play with a 110 when we get to the East Coast tracks, when we got some more ruts and things like that. Renthal, once again, great sponsor for us, do all of our sprockets and bars and all that stuff. But our DID chain is one of their best X-ring chains that they have, and you will not find a typical master link on it. It is a rivet link chain, so we do that just for safety, make sure that the clip can't get taken off during a race. Bottom chain guide looks like a production guide. It is really similar. It just has the first hole filled in just so a rock can't get in there and derail our chain. Yeah, our left side ignition cover, Bob just has his little process to kind of darken those things up and make them look cool. I have a Works aluminum shifter on my bike with a nice little tip with some silicone in it to prevent dirt from clogging that thing up. Yeah, you'll see all of our race bikes have this little button tucked up under the right side of the frame, kind of behind some of our wires. That is a secondary start button for these guys. First turn crash, whatever, something gets ran over, rips the start button off the handlebars, but the bike is still operable. They can start it right there and get going. Yeah, Twin Air's been great. Same thing, we have a couple different options in like filter material and thickness that we can choose from. So depending on whether we want more air, less air, more power, less power, we can kind of tune just with a filter in that sense. And they also provide some cool little shower caps for us when we get to like a sand race or rain race or anything like that. We have some options to kind of keep that filter protected. A tie stock tank stock cap. We have like a little aluminum vent that you'll see in our hose. That's just a one-way valve to prevent overflow and splash out. You'll see that wired on. No, in addition to our front brake, that's our standard Works front caliper that we've been running for years. We just have a production disc as well, and then a special one-off carbon rotor guard made just for us. Along with the protection of all the stuff going on down there, it does kind of act as a ski and just kind of helps push through the rut or the mud to protect that stuff from damage, especially that caliper. Mellow setup, neutral bars, neutral levers. Yeah, we have a pretty cool aluminum transponder bracket that's made in-house by Honda, non-strut triple clamp. Really surprised that Travis has been in this industry for 30 years and he thinks my steering stem is the tightest one on the team, and it's actually the lightest compared to the rest of the riders.